Hello, everybody. So, welcome to the Mikestand. As of course, it's day 2 of 2023. Hopefully, everybody had a good, week, good transitional weekend from 22 to 2022 to 2023. We did, of course, have our weekend edition last night, which we did at least try to talk about the year in review, the year ahead. Um, so hopefully, you guys caught that. Also, you know, I'll be going over what we'll be getting started on um, in a few moments here. So, um, anyway, they're dashing, they're daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly with stories to share. All through the forest they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air. Gummy bears, bouncing here and there and everywhere. Find adventure that beyond compare. They are the gummy bears. They are the gummy bears. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales, woo! You've been waiting, I've been waiting. DuckTales, woo! And then the danger out to find you. What do you do to grab onto some DuckTales? Woo! You've been waiting, I've been waiting. DuckTales, woo! All right. Well, anyways, I'm gonna go off camera here for a quick moment. I'll be right back. Let me see. As soon as as soon as I put some music on for you guys, of course. Let's see. Be right back. And I'm back. So hopefully we'll get some people on here soon. Um, just do something here real quick. Okay. All right, let's see. Well, we're coming up on 7 minutes here. So I guess we can start it off a little early here. So here's what's on top. I am going to go over 3 articles from CBR. Of course, 2 of them will be in regards to uh, this week's releases from DC and Marvel. Just going over what's coming out this week when you hit your local comic book shops. Also, we'll be looking back. So I don't know. It's either the last passing of 2022, or depending on I guess on when it actually happened, or the first passing of 2023. As comic book writer and historian Lou Mogan, I believe I believe that was his name. And real quick, Lou Mogan, comic book writer and historian, passed away at age 68. So exactly when I don't know as of yet. 'Cause I didn't put it in the article, but either the last passing of 2022 or the first, depending upon when it actually, according to the source here, I guess the article was put about 20 hours ago. So like, or like the last passing of 2022. But anyways, with that, why don't we go ahead and get started then? All right, so here we go. There it is. All right, now it's saying up to 22 hours ago. So 2 hours since I actually initially put this page up. So, anyways, all right. So Lou Mogan, comic book writer and historian, passes away at age 68. Lou Mogan, a comic book writer and acclaimed comic book historian, has passed away at the age of 68. Article by Brian Cronin, published 22 hours ago. Here's some interesting, I guess. So Lou Mogan, comic book writer, novelist, and acclaimed comic book historian, has passed away at the age of 68 after a short illness. Mogan is perhaps best remembered for his extensive comic book character histories in the 1980s in the pages of comic book magazine Amazing Heroes, during a period where there were scarce references available for the histories of comic book characters. Sounds like something it sounds like I'd be interested in some of this guy's work, depending on how much research I did. Logan's research skills helped him play a role in the original official handbook of the Marvel Universe, and he later wrote a few comic book stories for Marvel, including the origin of Swordsman. During the 1970s, Mogan got involved in the world of comic book indexes. Again, in those pre-internet days, reliable information about old comic books were very hard to come by, which led to the rise of independent indexes about a number of comic book characters. The two main indexes were George Olszewski for Marvel comic book characters and Murray Ward for DC comic book characters. Mogan began to work for both of them on their projects. Mogan also began to write historical articles for the comic reader, and that led to him doing the same for Amazing Heroes early in the 1980s, like the spotlight on Thor's history in early 1982. Cross the rainbow bridge of that star, where the blooming heavens roar, and behold incredulous wonder the God of thunder, mighty Thor. Of course, that was the intro to the Thor segment on the Marvel superhero cartoon in 1966. So you know what I just said there. Mogan would do dozens of these comic book histories, and fans loved it. Mogan would also do interviews with David A. Kraft's iconic Comics Interview magazine. When Mark Grunwald had launched his short-lived but influential fanzine Omniverse, Mogan started corresponding with him. And when Grunwald launched the official handbook of the Marvel Universe in late 1982, he had I think that's a typo right there. Peter Sanderson enlists Mogan. Okay, so he had, I think is what it's supposed to say. Peter Sanderson enlists Mogan to write a couple of entries for the handbook. Mogan's connection with Grunwald also led to him writing some backup for What If, that due to What If dropping the backup didn't see print until 1990's Inhumans Special Number 1. Logan also wrote a story for Avengers Spotlight number 22 featuring the origin of swordsman. So here's we got Hawkeye in the corner there. Saga of the Swordsman. Hawkeye in it. Maybe anyways, Mogan's indexing work became invaluable again with the birth of online indexing. Mogan was a key early contributor to the Grand Comic Book database, one of the greatest sources for information about comic books on the internet. Yes, I know that one because that's one of the sources I use. Uh, and that is a pretty good source if you're wanting to get a lot of the basic information. Logan's reason for getting in the indexes in the first place was his love of fan fiction. While writing fan fiction, he wanted to have the background of the characters that he was writing about, and thus he began doing indexes for himself to keep everything straight for the sake of his fan fiction. Yeah, yeah, having the long list of like appearances and all that, that does help. Especially if you're trying to follow, especially if you're trying to follow, the progression of a character as well as And let's just say for a moment you were interested in following the life of a particular character, right? And watching, and just getting into watching them, over their career and stuff, age and mature and all that, how they interact with other characters. So indexes can be kind of helpful in doing that. His fiction writing eventually led to a long career doing independent comic book writing um, for Heroic, Claypool, Lucky Comics, Warrant, AC, Charlton Neo, Indelible, G-Man Comics, and more. He wrote a number of stories for Warrant the Creep. I wonder if what they're saying here is when they say Warrant, that might be Warrant Comics. Oh yeah, Warrant Comics. He also began writing pulp novels. He released um, Crom the Barbarian, uh, Altus War, and was in the early stages of a sequel novel. Logan kept up his comic book historian work as well, including writing 2019 secondary superheroes of the Golden Age. That was the first thing we saw at the beginning of the article there. Right? That uh, Hogan remained active in comic book fandom, and he had long been an invaluable resource for comic book history articles here at CDR as well. All right, so wow, okay, some interesting stuff there. Alrighty then. So there we go with that article. Let's see. Okay. So getting ready to move on to the next article here. The next two will of course be a little bit longer because we're going to be talking about this week's releases. And my guess is, of course, the DC releases we're going to be looking at here will all be coming out tomorrow. So it's not too many sure. So your DC fan, you're going to want to get to your LCS, your local comic shop tomorrow for the book that we're about to go over right now. So the mystery of Batman's death is explored in this week's DC releases. Batman appears to have been killed, but he was actually just teleported elsewhere. Readers are set to find out where in Batman number 131 out this week. And I think that might be Batman Volume 2, 131, I would think. Because Volume 1 was well past um, 131 a long time ago. Anyways, we'll get back to the article here. Somebody else. Hey, Rick. I see you there. How you doing, man? Hey, Mike. Sorry I wasn't able to get there. No problem. I know sometimes things happen. You apparently had a friend come over at just that time. It's just our dumb luck. But anyways, yeah, I just went over an article about comic book writer and historian Lou Logan. He passed away. Oh yeah, they actually go back to that for a moment. They didn't actually say when exactly he passed. go back to that for just a quick moment. They just said he passed away. They didn't say exactly when. Right? We check, get up to the DC releases, and then check that real quick to see what they say. Mogan is the last passing of 2022 or the first passing of 2023 because he specifically say when exactly he died. He apparently died sometime, I guess, uh, a couple of days ago. Apparently, some kind of biographical information. They did say he passed away. He was 68 when he passed away. So now just to find it, he actually, yeah, so yeah, we saw that. Oh, so it was actually date of death. They do say what did happen today. So I'm thinking that Lou Mogan is the first passing of a comic book creator in 2023 yet. Oh, that's kind of sad, but he was 68, so he still lived a pretty good life there. Anyways, now getting ready to move on to the next article here. Um, Mystery of Batman's death is explored in this week's DC releases. And I already read this. I just start over again. Batman appears to have been killed, um, but he was actually just teleported away. Readers are set to find out where in Batman number 131 out this week. So I'm guessing that's volume 2 of Batman, because I think it's long past volume 1. So, and if you can remember to like and share the thing so we can get some more friendly people in. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer your questions as best I can. Uh, so let's. Sean Gribbin published 4 hours ago. So let's get into this thing. The new releases from DC Comics um, are set to answer one question: what has happened to Batman? Batman writer Chip Darsky, uh, the Darsky's second arc for the series begins on Tuesday with the release of Batman number 131, illustrated by Mike Hawthorne, while series artist Jorge Jimenez is on a break. The prior issue concluded the failsafe arc, in which the Dark Knight was hunted by a robot of his own design, also called failsafe. The final battle between the two ended with Failsafe blasting Batman with a laser gun, and leaving nothing behind but a smoking crater. But instead of being disintegrated, the hero's body appears to have been transported elsewhere. Readers will have to dive into Batman number 131 to find out where exactly Batman has wound up following his death. One Batman arc begins. Two miniseries related to the Cape Crusader and Gotham City are wrapping. Batman Night Watch and Sword of Azrael. Night Watch is a 5-issue miniseries written by Joseph Torres and drawn by Marcelo Di Chiara, and stars different members of the Bat family alongside Batman himself. As for the Sword of Azrael, by writer Dan Walters, no relation to me, by the way, no relation to me. Uh, uh, and artist Nicola uh, Inesha. This six-issue miniseries is picked up after Batman Urban Legend, The Dark Knight of the Soul story, and pit Jean-Paul Valley, aka Azrael, against the Knights Templar and their methods of turning others into angels. They're brainwashed warriors. As for other DC issues out, it is a lighter Batman-centric week new releases. Also on sale are new issues for titles like Gotham City, Year One, The Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing, and Poison Ivy. The outlier being DC's medieval Dark Knight of Steel limited series. The full list of releases can be found alphabetically below, covers and solicitations included. Is, um, and it would be natural for it to be a light week of releases, considering that we are coming off of the holidays here, where everybody's just getting back into the swing of things. So let's see what we have to look forward to in your local comic book shop come tomorrow. Actually, the very first one here is Batman 131. Now, mind you, I believe this is volume 2, number 131. So it probably started up, maybe even volume 3 for all I know. Let's see. Written by Chip Zdarsky, art by Mike Hawthorne and Adriano Di Benedito, cover by Jorge Jimenez. Let's see. All the art. 4.99 US, 40 pages. Um, Variant 5.99 US card on sale tomorrow. Now, I believe all of these books will probably be on sale tomorrow. So unless I see different, just assume that you can go to your local comic book shop tomorrow, Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023, and pick up one of the latest releases of a DC title. So let's see. Gotham City has never been darker or deadlier, and after failsafe, there is no Batman to save it. And the fractured ghost that roams the streets survives. Whatever happened to the man known as Bruce Wayne? Right? So, Batman Night Watch, number 5, written by J. Torres or Joseph Torres, art and cover by Marcelo Di Chiara, 2.99 US, 32 pages, part 5 of 5, which is, of course, the conclusion of a mini series. Um, the kids of Night Watch talk about what would be Batman's ultimate adventure and how they want to make a comic book to tell the story. Okay, that's interesting. A little breaking of the fourth wall right there, I'd say. Dark Knight of Steel number 9. If there's any other comics come in, no, not yet. At the rate this is going. All right. Dark Knight of Steel number 9, written by Tom Taylor. Boo. Art by Yasmin Kutri. Cover by Dan Mora. 3.99 US. Um, 32 pages, part 9 of 12, starting at 4.99 US card. Best-selling series continues. Okay. The opening title for The Three Kingdoms takes a deadly and dramatic turn as heroes return. Enemies are revealed and dark secrets spill out like blood on the battlefield. Wow, there's an interesting picture for you right there. The crimson red um, insert of, I guess it's what the Commissioner Gordon. Um, Gotham City, Year One, Number 4, written by Tom King. Oh, art and cover by Phil Heaster and Eric Gapper. 4.99 US, 40 pages, plus 4 6. All covers are cardstock. Um, so, so in this one, here we go. The new crime noir classic rolls on. Slam Bradley's search for the Wayne heiress takes a tragic, deadly turn, and the simmering pot that is City is about to boil over. As the world falls apart around him, Slam must decide um, between justice and revenge, a choice that will echo down the generations that redefine both Gotham and Batman. Now, Slam Bradley, for those of you who don't know, is a detective, private detective. And some of you may remember if you saw some of my earlier historical comic references, we read some of his earlier stories with him as story. Kind of a tough guy, no nonsense detective. So, anyways, the Joker, the man who stopped laughing, number 4, written by Matthew Rosenberg, art and cover by Carmine Di Giandomenico, um, 5.99 US, 40 pages, all covers are card. Why did the Joker cross town? Get to the bottom of the mystery that has been haunting him. Oh boy, the old chicken crossing the road joke. That's using the Joker in this case as the jokey, I guess. Who is the man pretending to be the Joker, and what does he want? But every lead he follows is a dead end. Every move he makes brings the Red Hood one step closer to him. What happens when the former clown hunter crime comes face to face with the current crime boss in Gotham? Everyone is dying to find out. Yeah, thus far, I think all of these have been stories associated with the Bat family in some level. Bat family in Gotham City. So let's see. Poison Ivy, number 8, written by G. Willow Wilson, art by Adagun Ilhan, cover by Jessica Fong. 3.99 US, 32 pages, 4.99 US cardstock. Poison Ivy's adventure in fracking comes to an emotional head when the return of an old friend forces our verdant villain to confront the very real, very human cost of her actions. Will Ivy turn over a new leaf, or is she sticking to her plan? So my guess is, I guess they're trying. I guess one of, yeah, I don't see that one selling too well because if that's one of those like pro-environmental, anti-fracking, traditional energy books where they're trying to preach to you, I don't know that one. Well, Sword of Azrael, number 6, written by Dan Waters. I thought it said Walters. but it's Jan Waters. Uh, art and cover by Nicola Silmeja. Um, there's another one that's coming to an end here. $3.99 US, 32 pages, part 66. Variant $4.99 US cardstock. Angels at War. Brielle has embraced her violent destiny as the warrior angel Saria, as opposed to Azrael. Okay. Just switch the A and the S around there, I guess. Um, well, I get they put it, they replace the Z with the S. Despite all of Azrael's intervention, Azrael will once more have to raise his flaming sword and gauntlet in violence to see if Brielle's soul can still be saved. If it can't, Father Valley and the poor fellow's full machinations will come to pass, and the world will be um, will be damned. The epic conclusion of the Sword of Azrael is here. All of these issues go on sale January 3rd of DC Comics, which is tomorrow. So for you DC fans out there, if you have an inkling to go purchase some of the latest releases, and they were right. It was kind of a light week there. With basically just all the books were Bat Family Gotham related books. Nobody else is featured this week, I guess, with these releases. No, let's see if you guys are saying anything yet. I guess not. Rick, if you're still on, if you want to, if anything catches your attention, feel free to comment. Uh, or ask anything, if anything catches your attention. And if you can like and share the thing, so we can get more really people here, that would really be a So with that, let's get ready to move on to. Actually, I do need to step away from the computer for a moment. So after I set up the next article here, I will bring the actually step away for a moment. I will be back. All right, not much has not much has got my attention. All right. Yeah, you did miss the first story about Lou Mogan, so and then now it's just release information now. But I know. Again, at least it's good to know these things. If again, if you want to venture up to your local comic book shop and see what you can buy, at least it's a good thing to know. So tomorrow you go to your local comic book shop and you'll be able to get some of the newer DC titles. Now we're going to go over the Marvel releases, the latest Marvel titles will be released this week, and those will most likely be coming out on Wednesday, the 4th. So, let's go ahead and take a look at this article. So, Marvel's Gangster Hulk and Scarlet Witch get new series this week. Scarlet Witch and Marvel's Gangster Hulk, Go Fix It, I think the Gray Hulk there, star in their own series and a new week of comic releases featuring Shang-Chi, Avengers, and more. Article by Sean Griffin, published 4 hours ago. The Scarlet Witch and Joe Fixit are leading a week of new releases for Marvel Comics. After the character has appeared in Marvel's Darkhold saga and her live-action counterpart in the Marvel Cinematic Universe's WandaVision and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness 2022, Wanda Maximoff is starring in a brand new ongoing Scarlet Witch series, written by Steve Orlando and illustrated by Sarah Pichelli. The title has Wanda running her very own marble shop outside of her superheroic and is bringing in the MCU's Darcy Lewis um, to be one of its workers. Out on Wednesday, Scarlet Witch #1 marks Darcy's first comic book appearance. It's set to focus on Wanda dealing with a quote unquote town gone mad, according to its solicitation. And again, as always, you can like and share the stream so we can get some more friendly people in here. That would help. Also, of course, if anything catches your attention, feel free to comment or ask questions. I'll try to answer the question best I can. Aside from little towns, Marvel is also visiting the big city this week and bringing back um, Las Vegas enforcer Joe Fixit, aka the Gray Hulk, for his own 5-issue miniseries. Writer Peter David and artist uh, Yidre uh, Samar all right, are working together on Joe Fixit, a title that revolves around the Hulk's mobster persona and will force him to face the Kingpin with Spider-Man caught in the middle of their conflict. Joe Fixit continues David's work with Marvel's Hulks following the Maestro trilogy and the latest New Fantastic Four series. Joining Scarlet Witch #1 and Joe Fixit #1 on comic book shelves and digital platforms this week is the special issue Shang-Chi, Master of the Ten Rings #1, forcing the hero to work with his evil father. Also, both Ultraman, The Mystery of the Ultra 7, and X-Men Red are ending on Wednesday. But the latter will be replaced by the upcoming Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants, out in February 2023. Full list of releases can be found alphabetically below, covers and solicitations included. I wonder if Marvel is going to have a few more titles than DC this week. Be interesting to see. Avengers number 64. Let me just try something here. Alright. Alright, so anyways, getting back to the article here. Avengers number 64. Written by Jason Aaron. Art and cover by Javier Garron. Let's see. The Avengers wage their final bloody showdown with the multiversal masters of evil for the fate of prehistoric Earth and the entire Marvel Age of Heroes. Not everyone will survive. Meanwhile, Tony Stark must face his greatest enemy, his own father, the Iron Inquisitor. 32 pages, rated T+, $3.99. So we have a Captain America book here. Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, number 8. Written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, with art and cover by Carmen Carnero. When Captain America's allies find themselves scattered across the country with no recollection of how they got there, Steve calls in a favor with the one person he knows can help, mutant telepath Emma Frost. But what Emma finds chills Steve Rogers to the bone. As Steve and his allies race to save a city under siege by AIM, the Outer Circle's ultimate assassin is revealed, introducing MODOK, the mental organism designed only for control. 32 pages, rated T+, $3.99. Captain Marvel, number 45. Now, this is Marvel's Captain Marvel. This is the one that Brie Larson has been known. This is, of course, Carol Danvers. And this is Marvel's version, not to be confused with Fawcett Comics' version. Written by Kelly Thompson. Art by Sergio Davila. Cover by Juan Frigeri. Revenge of the Brood, Part 3. Captain Marvel and her excellent allies reveal in their big win against the Brood, revel in their big win against the Brood, but all is not quite what it seems. Carol and her friends have miles to go before they sleep. A quote from John Milne. The Brood has always been one of the universe's most dangerous foes and one of Carol Danvers' greatest enemies. And now, under the rule of an Empress Brood gone rogue, with a hive mind bent on revenge, what could possibly stop them? 32 pages, rated T+, $3.99. Fantastic Four, number 3. No need to, they're here, just call for 4. Fantastic Four, that's what the score. Fantastic Four. Richards is elastic. Sue can fade from sight. Johnny's a human torch. The Thing just loves to fight. All for 4. Fantastic Four. That's from the 90s cartoon, of course. Anyways, Fantastic Four number 3, written by Ryan North, art by Iban Coelho, cover by Alex Ross. Whatever happened to the Fantastic Four? The Human Torch is alone in New York, trying to survive in a city that hates and fears, well, mostly him specifically. That's just one thing for Johnny to do, adopt an all new secret identity and take an all new job nobody else wants. But when things at work heat up, Johnny discovers that while you can forget past, that doesn't mean it'll stay buried. You have to decide if there are certain things that the human torch can't let himself do. Also in this issue, Johnny Storm fights a tornado. Wow, that'd be an interesting thing to look at. A flaming man taking on a tornado. That sounds very interesting. Ah, 32 pages, rated 2 plus. You know, nice. Old Goblin, number 3 of 5. Written by Christopher Cantwell. Juan Medina on the art. Cover by Corinne Clark. Variant cover by Gary Frank. Yeah, we don't usually go through the variant covers. Anyways, as if as if fighting Chasm wasn't enough, Norman Osborn now finds himself face to face with his own sin. That's right, Queen Goblin is back, and you should be scared. 32 pages, rated 2, night. So Joe Fixit right here. Joe Fixit, number 1 of 5, written by Peter David. Art by Yildiray Sinar, cover by Corey Hamner. Let's see. Peter David returns to Joe Fixit. Peter David toured the force through some of the greatest Hulk hits continued the day returned to Joe Fixit. Gone are the ripped up shorts of the Hulk of yore. This enforcer prefers the slick suave of a striped suit, and the Hulk has traded in quote unquote monster for quote unquote mobster. As he lends his strength to the Las Vegas casino scene, of course, the Kingpin has his own ideas about who the toughest guy in town is. It's up to Spider-Man to keep the two of them from destroying Sin City. Ah, yeah, after all, you wouldn't want Sin City to end up like Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Ah, 32 pages, 82 plus, 299. Marauders, number 10. We were written by Steve Orlando, art by Eleonora Carlini, cover by Pete Momoko. Pete, Pete, he's a peach, alright? He's there. Momoko is from what I understand, the Japanese word for peach. Like stated many times before. Alright, let's. Here comes yesterday finale. With all of known history in the balance, Bishop and Psylocke lead a last-ditch strike to retake the path from its twin bacterial tyrant. Dangers mount, and Pride escape an unbreathing prison. in time to rescue not just her crew, but the foundation of mutant society itself. So it's rated rated plus 399. Planet Hulk, World Breaker, number 3 of 5. Written by Greg Pak. Art by Manuel Garcia. Cover by Carlo Pagulayan. Pagulayan. With the life of her brother at stake and a world breaker determined never to break the world again, our young heroine must reassess everything she knows in a time of reversals and revelations. The origin of the Harg, the true motivations of the High Priestess, the return of the Man of Stone, the deliverance of Jen. What will our heroine discover, and who will join her for the final battle? 32 pages, rated to 32 plus, 99. Here we go. The other debuting book this month, Scarlet Witch number 1, written by Steve Orlando, art by Sarah Pichelli, cover by Russell Dodderman. Let's see. All right, let's see. Scarlet Witch returns. There is a door that appears only to those who need it most, who have no one else in the world to turn to. On the other side of this door is the witchcraft shop. Friend or foe, human or otherwise, if your need is great and your hope is gone, there you will meet Scarlet Witch. Wanda Maximoff is familiar with hitting rock bottom, and now that she's finally found peace, she pledged all her power to help others who are languishing at their lowest. But when a woman falls through Wanda's door with a terrifying story of a town gone mad, Scarlet Witch will have to master her wit and chaos magic to deal with the insidious threat. Comic powerhouse Steve Orlando, Marauders, Midnighter, and Sarah Pichelli, powerhouses, Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man, join forces to open a groundbreaking new chapter in Scarlet Witch's history. 40 pages, rated T plus, $4.99. Secret Invasion, number 3 of 5. Written by Ryan North, art by Francesco Mobili, cover by E.J. Sue. Keep your friends close and your scrolls closer. Kind of a take on the old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Kind of a take on that there. A familiar face from Maria's past behind the Skrull incursion in New York. But a familiar face from Maria's past is behind the Skrull incursion in New York. But are they acting alone? Who else is supporting them? And what is their end game? Maria is about to find out. But as she learns, not everything or everyone are who they seem, Maria finds herself facing both betrayal and a choice. And what she chooses will decide the fate, not just Earth, but of the entire Skrull race. 32 pages, rated T plus, $3.99. Shang-Chi, Master of the Ten Rings, number 1. Written by Jean Luen Young. Art by Michael Eag. Cover by Jim Chung. Father and son, side by side. Shang-Chi is lost in time, and the only one who can help him is his father? What will Shang-Chi do when he meets the younger version of his evil parent? Will he be able to change the course of history? Or will Shang-Chi be shocked to discover he didn't know his father as well as he thought? Find out as Jean Luen Yang's Shang-Chi saga comes to its shocking conclusion. 40 pages, one shot, rated T plus, $4.99. Spider-Man number 4, written by Dan Slott. Ooh. Art and cover by Mark Bagley. Let's see. The end of the Spider-Verse rages on. Yes, that really happened last issue. The tremors will be felt till it all ends. That's truly all we can say until you read number 3. 32 pages, rated T, $3.99. Let's see. Star Wars number 30. Written by Charles Soule. Art by Andres Genolet. Cover by Steven Segovia. Action. Okay, yeah, we don't. Marooned. Some of the Rebel Alliance's best and brightest have gotten lost in an unknown region of space while hunting for a lost treasure. How will Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa, Chewbacca, Lando Calrissian, and Amelin Holdo ever survive the horrors of no space? No space? 32 pages, rated T, $3.99. Ultraman, the mystery of the Ultra 7, number 5 of 5. Written by Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom. Art by Davide Tinto. Cover by E.J. Sue. The last hopes of Earth have their hands at each other's throats. Can anything pull them back from the edge? And even if they can, where could they go from here with the world turned against them? Decades-old questions are answered. Oaths are broken, and a new movement is forged as the mystery of Ultra 7 concludes. 32 pages, rated T plus, $3.99. X-Force, number 36. All right, so X-Force number 36, written by Benjamin Percy. Art by Robert Gill. Cover by Joshua Cassata. Xeno strikes. The man with the peacock tattoo has had his sights on X-Force for some time, and when Domino, Deadpool, and Omega Red embark on a mission they will fall right into his clutches. Be here for the first issue of the Xenosaga finale as the team closes in on the man with the peacock tattoo. And the full breadth of his plans are finally revealed. 32 pages, parental advisory, $3.99. X-Men Legends number 5. Written by Wills Portazio and Brian Haberlin. Art and cover by Wilse Portazio. 2 shall fall. The future is now. Legendary Wilse Portazio returns to his iconic co-creation in an all-new tale that finally reveals the genesis of Bishop's time travel mission that pulled him from the future into the X-Men's present. Bishop, Malcolm, and Randall, who make up the elite Omega Squad, have discovered a dark truth about the XSE. After a mission goes sideways, how far will they be willing to go to make this right? To the past and beyond? Bishop will make the most shocking decision in X-Men Legends history that will redefine when you thought you knew about mutant kind. Future, and the reason behind Bishop's collision with the X-Men. 32 pages, rated T+, $3.99. X-Men Red, number 10. Written by Al Ewing. Art by Stefano Caselli. Cover by Russell Dodderman. Let's see. It's all led up to this. In the blazing ruins of the Autumn Palace, Storm battles for the soul of Araco. Meanwhile, Abigail Brand and Roberto da Costa play their last cards, and a sinister hand deals the ace of spades. You won't believe where the Brotherhood goes from here. 32 pages, rated T+, $3.99. So what was X-Men Red? Okay. All of these issues go on sale January 4th from Marvel Comics. That's this Wednesday. That's 2 days from today. So tomorrow are the DC releases in your local comic book shops. Wednesday, it's the Marvel releases, your latest Marvel releases. So let's see. Where are we at on time here? Hour 9 minutes coming up on an hour 10. So that's pretty good there then. So let's see what else we can get into at least the next maybe 5 minutes. See if there's any other interesting stories here in the next 5 minutes to get into here. Not at least in the comic section. Let's at least check TV section here. We'll probably start to wind things up a bit here. One day ago, though. I know this was talked about quite a bit. Anyway. All right, so here's something in the kind of cartoon animated section here. Invincible promises a season 2 update very soon. Prime Video confirms fans won't need to wait for an update on Invincible season 2, as news on the next chapter of the series is coming very soon. Article by Lucy Lily published 16 hours ago. Second season of Invincible is slated to arrive in 2023, and fans' first major update is coming sooner than expected. The Twitter account for Invincible shared the news that an update on season 2 is coming before the end of January 2023, so before the end of this month. The nature of the announcement is unknown, but previous tweets have teased that the upcoming news is an official release date. Um, the first season of the show debuted on Amazon Prime in March 2021 to high critical and audience acclaim, earning renewals for a second and third season shortly after its finale. In late 2022, Amazon's head of television, Vernon Sanders, confirmed that Invincible Season 2 was definitely on the platform's 2023 slate, but could not give a more specific release window. This interview came not long after the official Twitter account had initially teased news coming in January. Quote, so this is the last month we won't have a season 2 update for you, unquote, read the tweet. Voice actor Kari Payton, who of course is known for voicing Cyborg in the Teen Titans series, confirmed that season 3 was already in production, saying, quote, we finished season 2, we're on to season 3, unquote, in an interview in September 2022. However, he made it clear that he couldn't use that to predict release dates because animation studios had a backlog of work. Quote, there was literally a line for the really great studios to just get this work out. So I honestly can't tell you, unquote. There may be other Invincible news on the horizon as well, as a separate live action movie project is allegedly still in development. Prior to the release of the first season, creator Robert Kirkland um, confirmed that Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen, the team behind the Prime Video superhero project The Boys, were still attached to write, direct, and produce a live action adaptation of the comic series. The duo, who also serves as executive producers on the animated series, and first announced their involvement in an Invincible movie in 2017. Invincible is based on the comic of the same name by Kirkman, who writes it, Corey Walker, and Ryan Otley, who are the artists. Follows the life of Mark Grayson, Invincible, voiced in the show by The Walking Dead star Steven Yeun. Um, the first season revolved around Mark discovering he had inherited powers from his father, the hero Omni-Man, voiced by J.K. Simmons, who also lent his voice to the such roles as General Iling in Justice League, Justice League Unlimited, Justice League Unlimited, particularly during the Cadmus arc, and learning how to be a superhero. The show featured a star-studded cast, also including Sandra Oh, Zazie Beetz, Gillian Jacobs, and many more. Well, season 1 is available to stream on now on Prime Video. Okay, so we'll get ready to move on. If there's any more articles here to go through, we're at an hour 15, so go for going here on web. No, let's see, what else is there? All right, so I think we're done with the articles for now. I think I'll start moving on to the wrestling wrap up. As our wrestling roundup is, yeah, some news. You have some news, some interesting news, not just from WWE and AEW, but of course around the wrestling world, including New Japan Pro Wrestling. Um, as soon as I can, let me see. Okay, so of course, actually this Friday, AEW is going to have the Battle of its Belts from Portland, Oregon, but this Wednesday will be Dynamite from Seattle, first Dynamite of the year. So we'll talk about that here in a moment. But uh, some other news, of course. Other news, of course. So apparently, Roman Reigns may have given Kevin Owens a receipt, as it were, this past Friday SmackDown, um, from a shot he took from him at Survivor Series and then prior. So looks like Roman took a little bit of liberties to take KO. Now Owens and Cena did defeat Reigns and Sami Zayn to hand Reigns his second loss of 2022. Now, mind you, this is a tag team match, and I believe it was Sami Zayn who took the pinfall for the team, but Reigns and Cena won the match. Apparently, Lacey Evans may have been scratched from SmackDown this past week as well, due to some controversial statements she made online about processed foods and connections to autism. So, food. Not much else is really known. There's still rumors going around too that Matt Cardona and his wife Chelsea Green are looking to return to the WWE as well. Um, so they now Matt Cardona is still working with Impact Wrestling, I believe. In fact, we'll talk more about that next week. But he, along with his major players tag partner Brian Myers, will be now involved in a four-way match for the Impact World Tag Team Championship, including Bullet Club members Steve Austin and Chris Bay, um, recently former champions Keith and Rhino, and of course the new champions, the Motor City Machine Guns of Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. Um, Aside from that, there was also an announcement that Nick Aldis, a two-time NWA World Champion, Nick Aldis, is now a free agent as his contract is up with NWA. Now, according to a statement he's made, he right now is just looking forward to just being a free agent, just kind of testing the waters, as it were. He's not, at least according to him, he's not necessarily looking to sign any contract anytime soon. Now, granted, His wife, Mickey James, is of course on her last road and Impact, culminating in the title match at next week. Um, well, Hard to Kill. This is Hard to Kill pay-per-view for Impact. So you might see Nick uh, doing some. Well, there's some talk that among other entrants that Nick Aldis might make a surprise appearance at the Royal Rumble. Um, he might show up on AEW, which we'll have to wait and see. He's just not planning on settling in anywhere anytime soon, according to him. So, well, let's see. After that, of course, let's see. Also, Shinsuke Nakamura and Terry King had a bit of a reunion for Pro Wrestling Noah um, this past weekend as Shinsuke won his match against the Great Muta over the weekend here. Um, over the weekend here at Pro Wrestling Noah's show on New Year's Day, which was yesterday. Terry King was there too. So in fact, I should go ahead and look over just to see what matches happened on that one. That was the start of Muta's retirement tour, I believe. As it was announced earlier this year that, or late last year, that Muta, who I think is like 63, he's basically the same age as Sting, um, is basically going on. He's on his last run here, more or less. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. No other New Year, and then I guess they've got Great Muta's final bye-bye show coming up on the 22nd, like 3 weeks ago. But at the New Year's show here, um, the main event did see Shinsuke Nakamura defeat Great Muta in that match. Let's see, any other names here that anybody would really recognize? There wasn't um, Kaito Kiyomiya retained the THC heavyweight title. Um, Elita and Yoshinari Ogawa defeated KZ and Yohei for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Title. Satoshi Kojima and Takashi Shigura retained the GHC Tag Team Title over over Kenta and Naomichi Manu Fuji. Amakusa retained the GHC Junior Heavyweight title over Junta Miyaka. And I know a lot of those names most of us don't even know. The only real names we probably know, most of us know, are of course Muda and Nakamura. Nakamura being from his WWE work, and Muda for his work in WCW years ago. You know, well before it was WCW, when it's still part of the NWA back in the late '80s. So, anyway, and speaking of course, Japanese wrestling, we do have another show to talk about from New Japan because this Wednesday will be their will be their Wrestle Kingdom show, and we already do know that former WWE star Mercedes Verano, aka Sasha Banks, um, will be there. A new beginning in Sapporo. So, and this is part of their and in New Japan, of course, they do touring series. So, um, in which it's not just one show, but and they don't have any of the matches listed here. But we already, from what I've already heard, so Sasha Banks, under her real name, Mercedes Verano, as well as Paul Anderson will both be there. Paul Anderson will be defending his never open weight title there. Um, and also happening this Wednesday in AEW, as I said, they'll be having they will be debuting their new logos for television. On this Wednesday, Dynamite this Wednesday. Um, I know the main event is going to see Samoa Joe defending the TNT title against Darby Allin, as set up on last week's show. Um, let's see what else. What else will we? And then, of course, they'll be going down for Rampage and also the taping of the Battle of the Belts show on Battle of the Belts 4 on Friday in Portland, Oregon. But for this Wednesday's Dynamite, as I said, main event looks like it's going to be Samoa Joe defending the TNT title, Darby Allin. The Acclaimed, with Billy Gunn in their corner, will be defending the AEW World Tag Team titles against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, with Satman Singh and Sanjay Dutt in their corner. Sky Blue and Kiera Hogan will be taking on Jade Cargill and Red Velvet. Now, this is a developing story because on Rampage, on Friday's Rampage, Hogan was in a match with Cargill for the TBS title, which eventually led to it did eventually lead to Cargill winning. But there's an incident on the outside in which all three members of initially it was going to look like all three members of the body were going to like go after Sarah Hogan as uh, Layla Gray. Layla Gray grabbed hold of Sarah Hogan, and as Jade Cargo was about to slap her, about to hit her, Red Velvet stopped. Red Velvet stopped Big Cargo from attacking Sarah Hogan. So you have to kind of wonder, maybe there's some more friction. Sarah Hogan that was recently left the Baddies about like a month or so ago. So now could there be some more dissension in the faction? We're also into Brian Danielson takes on Tony Nese of the varsity athletes with Josh Woods and Mark Sterling in his corner. AR Fox takes on George Strickland, and of course Chris Jericho takes on Ricky Starr. So so that's all of the wrestling news I have for you guys in terms of the wrestling roundup, as it were. Um, Now, with all that being said, go ahead and start to wrap things up a bit. So today being um, Monday, January the 2nd, 2022, let's take a look back at this day in youth history. History! All right. So first off, we're going to head back all the way back to 1933, as on this date back in 1933, Walter Lantz Productions, of course, a company that would become known for producing Woody Woodpecker the Woody Woodpecker short in the 40s and 50s, um, would produce the 1933 short animated film Mary Dog, which is the sixth theatrical short based on the Pooch the Pup series. So on this date back in 1933, Mary Dog, the sixth short of the Pooch the Pup series, was released in theaters on this date back in 1933. So from Walter Land Productions. Directed, written, and produced by Walter Land. So on this date, which was, of course, 90 years ago today, Mary Dog from Walter Lance Productions um, was released in theaters. Moving on to the next piece in each history, we head back in time to 1948, 75 years ago today. On this date, 75 years ago today, the 50th issue of startling, startling comics from Standard went on sale on this date back in 1948, which is 75 years ago today. So for 10 cents, there's 40 pages. You might notice the cover there looked like some good girl art right there. Uh, so on this date back in 1948, 75 years ago today, the 50th issue of Startling Comics from Standard went on sale on this date back in 1948. Moving on now to the next piece of news history here. On this date, 50 years ago today, back in 1973, and again, if anything here catches your attention, feel free to comment or ask questions, of course. Um, on this date, back in 1973, the Tatsunoko Productions anime Dematon Croaker, the Boy Frog, also known in some English countries as the Brave Frog, a 39 episode series, went on sale. Or I'm sorry, premiered on Japanese television on Fuji Television Network on this date back in 1973. So 50 years ago today, um, Ematon Croaker, the boy frog, um, was premiered on Fuji Television on this date back in 1973, 50 years ago today. Let's see. Yeah, in the English version, it was called the Brave Frog. It looks like the Harmony Gold was the one who did the English language adaptations. So with that, we do have one more piece of niche history to go over. Kind of a little bit of sad news from about 5 years ago here. As on this date, 5 years ago today, for those of you who remember Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling from back in the late 80s, early 90s, was a women's wrestling promotion run by Jackie Stallone, mother of Sylvester. Um, on this date, 5 years ago today, Emily Dole, better known to fans as Mount Fuji, Samoan American athlete, actress, and female professional wrestler, passed away on this date back in 2018 at the age of 60. As most of us probably remember, um, she was a member of the Glow roster, wrestled under the name Mount Fuji. So she passed away at the age of 60 on this date back in 2018, 5 years ago today. So with that, guys, I thank you all for being here tonight. Um, I hope you enjoyed the show. Anyways, um, anyways, So we'll be back here, of course, tomorrow night and through Thursday, doing the niche news. Reporting on the latest in the world of niche. Also, this Friday, I'll have Tim Olson on. I'll have Tim Olson on as my co-host. As later, Mike. All right. As we will be starting our coverage of August of 1939 with our historical comic retrospect, in which we'll be focusing in on DC Comics and looking over some of the some stories from there. As I was looking at it today, my attention got caught to the fact that in August of 39, one of the stories was Batman and the Vampire, one of Batman's earliest, probably his first time in which he was facing a supernatural enemy. So we'll be looking at that story most likely. Quite a bit was going on August 39, so I hope you guys will join us. And of course, we'll be back on Sunday as well with our panel show, weekend edition. So until tomorrow, guys, bye.